Hey everybody, this is a quick tutorial about muzzle flare or muzzle flash for Carbon P, and let's just jump into it. Alright, first we're going to start out with a square. Hit tab, face mode, right click a face, hit E, don't move anything, left click, that'll drop it in the same spot, S to scale in, and E to scale extrude in. So now we have pretty much a hole in a box. Alright, let's go back to the face we started at, and we're going to add in armature. First tab out, of course. Add armature. Alright, now that's been set in place. Front, armature, edit mode, grab this tail, put it here, Control N sets the rotation so that the Z-axis is facing up. Then over to object mode, move it back a little bit. Tabbed to get out of object mode. We're going to stay in object mode. We're going to add a plane. We have a plane here. And then we're gonna rotate that along the x-axis. So R, X, hold control, and as you move it, wait till it lines up and says 90 at the mid left side of the screen. Left click, that'll set it in. Then we're gonna go back to the mode face we're facing. I'm gonna add in mesh again. That's also plane. I'm gonna hold shift, right click the other mesh, hit Control J to join the message, so now they're a one mesh. Then we're gonna, while this item is highlighted, we're gonna hold shift, right click the armature, Control P, we're gonna be parenting it with bone heat. Everything is close enough so the bone heat radiates from red all the way out to blue, depending on how far apart, red being closest. We're gonna jump back into face mode. Front mode. And now that they're set like this, we're going to jump to pose mode. I'm going to shrink this down a little bit. Jump into object mode. We're going to move this up. Let's move it up just a little bit more. Pose mode, scale it down quite a bit, move it up front or back. We'll go into the size later on and while we're doing that. A to make sure everything's unselected. And in fact, we're gonna jump back into pose mode because the point is to get these planes over here to expand it up. So front. Also be careful as to which part you're scaling at. The tail is forward, so we're going to scale it forward. So now we know that how far it goes. We're going to jump into object mode. We're going to grab this, and we're going to move it forward. I would say about halfway over the tail, maybe. Yeah, that's good enough. In fact, let's move this object back. Hit tab. I'm going to move this object forward, just off of the data point, which is this yellow dot. Pink dot. And hit tab again. I'm going to select the armature, jump into pose mode, and stretch it out this way. That's a little annoying. Stretch it down. Edit mode. That's where it's at. We want it to be just outside of it. Jump into pose mode again. That's where it'll be. So we have it. Go like this. Now, that's if you want to keep it there. If you want, you can also keep the armature in here. and use this. Move it forward manually. Jump into pose mode with the armature. Sorry, hit escape. Pose mode. Get this. Scale it down a bit. What that does is it scales it up high enough that it pushes this cube out. That's what we're aiming for right here. It'll take a little messing around with to get it working. See, like this. So that we start off like this. You can adjust things however you want. It's really up to you, as long as you are up to speed on this. I'm going to jump into a shaded mode. See what's going on. Now you can see it in Blender, because that's just the way Blender is. Blender shows you everything. Now because they will be translucent, it'll be a little different. Alright, now because I spent a good 20 minutes or something messing with another item, we're going to open a mock gun I made. No, this isn't a extension of my skills or anything. This is just a quick item. I don't want to show any of my other guns. I'll probably show them a later time, because they do retarded things. Alright, now that we've had our bootleg gun over here, we've thrown on some meshes. I'm sorry, not meshes, some textures. Now I just want to show you that the same thing that was done back there was done here, with the exception of the inside item. And this is what the inside item looks like. We'll texture it up. Now these, I didn't set Blender to show translucent mesh. I just set it to get the point across. In fact, if you look down here, I don't have any materials assigned, because I just went and opened up the image and started throwing things places. Also, one thing I want to touch on real quickly. The reason I have this like this is because a quad is 4 ends, but the tri is the basic shape of any shape, as when it comes down to it. So if I decided, you know what, I'm gonna make this all fit, because that's just where I made the picture. This is what happens. I'm gonna grab these 2 ends with B, and I'm going to scale them out, and I'm gonna click. The reason you see this this warp is because right now the quad goes from this bottom left angle to the top right angle. So then it can only see what it can only do what it's supposed to do. That's just the way it is. So I'm gonna hit Alt U and go back to the way it was. I thought about putting a red block. I thought about putting a just a red plane back here for the heck of it, just to show some extra effect. But I decided against it because I just want to get this done and to show people how to fake muzzle flare or muzzle flash. There's different ways to do it. Even if you use a Blender engine, you could even use this technique. Alright, now that everything's been shown, we're going to hit Tab, go back, and we're going to jump into animation mode. Now before I told you that we scale it out in order to get what we want. As you can see here, I set the animation start at 1, the end at 3, so there's only 3 frames in here. And then I'm gonna click to play. I could click play. Let me click play. And this is what it looks like. It's not the best in the world, but you can tone it over time. Now before you click this tutorial window and hit X or whatever, I just want to show that on 2 we've extended it as far as we possibly can as far as the bone is concerned, because the bone is really tiny. So we're going to jump over to the export to show what it looks like exporting. First, I'm going to focus on a firing sequence. Now if you set up your DTS scene, or set up the way you want it to set up, I keep my DTS scene, like I said, on the bottom left. So all I do is shift, walk in, and control P and parent everything. Now there's only there's literally 2 objects in the scene: the handgun model and the bone, because the flare is connected to the bone. It's parenting. So I parent the bone to the detail and the object to the detail. Now, because